Hello, boys and girls. Today I got some good news for you. Apparently, the FDA has had to back off because the public has gotten a little pissed off and is now pushing back against them, through the uses of means that they should have been doing for quite some time. And you want to talk about a proud dude, man. I love it. I absolutely love that people are pushing back, and now these people are having to listen to them, and it's good. I'm glad. And but hey, let me show you this article, and you check it out, and you tell me what you're thinking about it as far as that goes. And you can see here, yes, it is from Bazinga, and the FDA is backing off a joint study on kratom and psychedelics amidst public criticism. So this is a pretty recent article here. The FDA has unexpectedly withdrawn its request for White House permission to conduct a study on the risk associated with kratom and psychedelics. As MJ Moment reported, this move comes in response to growing public criticism, particularly from advocates who have accused the agency of displaying a consistent bias against harm reduction strategies. So we all know, man, putting a chemical in an organic body is not good, man. No bueno. It's not good at all. And so people are now calling this harm reduction, which is against the chemicals of the pills and other forms, for our health. And we're looking for a much more natural way. You should really look into that harm reduction strategies as far as your health, and maybe less sugar, more salt. I'm just saying. Kratom is a tropical tree native to Southeast Asia, opioid-like properties. Okay, it's apparently got those. It is what it is. Although the FDA has not approved any use of kratom, it is often used to self-treat conditions such as pain, coughing, diarrhea, anxiety, and depression, as well as opioid use disorder and withdrawal. Now, that's them saying this, not Chad. I'm making no medical claims whatsoever, but I happen to know some people who have gotten off of those type of things with the help of kratom. I've shared that story before. I've shared how personal that is for me, that I know people, one in particular, that it literally saved their life. And I totally believe it. When somebody's skin goes from yellow jaundice to healthy and vibrant, and all they're taking is this, what's up? What's up? In June of 23, Congress introduced H.R. 5905, the Federal Kratom Consumer Protection Act. This bill requires the FDA to hold a hearing and establish a task force. A task force. Ooh, let's pay people to look into things that we already know a lot about on the health and safety of kratom products. It has also prohibited the FDA from regulating kratom products in a more restrictive manner compared to regulations for food, dietary supplements, and dietary ingredients, which means there has to be testing done and proof that they need to do something about it, rather than pulling a Missouri governor and just signing off on it and saying, hey, this is for the kids. We got to take care of this business, right? Earlier this month, the FDA announced its intention to initiate a 60-day public comment period on a proposed study aimed at understanding the risks and benefits of kratom and various psychedelic substances. The study required clearance from the White House Office of Management and Budget before proceeding. However, in a recent reversal, the FDA pulled the proposal without providing a detailed explanation, stating only that circumstances occurred necessitating change of the scope of the study. Well, I'll tell you what it was. They started getting some pushback from the public. They said, no, we want this, which is what we should be doing all the time. The FDA's initial proposal drew immediate backlash, especially from the AKA. That's the American Kratom Association, for all you that don't speak, letters, and other stakeholders. Critics argued that the FDA's approach reflected an ongoing bias against kratom, which is currently legal at the federal level, as most psychedelics remain classified Schedule 1, including MJ, which they swore they was going to reclassify. Hey, y'all, from time to time, you guys hit me up and you ask me, where do I get my display cases from? Do you got anybody you would suggest? As a matter of fact, I would. Displayarama.com has all your cases and smoke shop needs for displays. These guys are a family-owned operation. And here, let me show you some examples. And I also don't forget about this one. And hey, check this one out. And if you use code ChadWade5 when you go to check out, they'll know to give you Chad's discount, which is 5% off your total order. How you gonna beat that, man? 5% off. All right. Now, don't forget, use that code ChadWade5 at the end and get the discount. Don't waste money, man. Save the 5%. Get quality cases that are even in my shop. So if they're good enough for old Chad, good enough for you. Check them out, displayarama.com. You're gonna love them. I know I do. What's up, man? What you gonna do? I kind of called it. I told you this was gonna take years for reclassification. Months at best. But I mean, 12 to 18 months after, the big deal of we're going to reclassify and make it a Schedule 3 so that our doctors can do something with it. That's what you've seen. Nothing. And I called it. Nobody wanted to listen to old Chad, but whatever. Mac Haddow, a senior fellow of public policy for the AKA, voiced strong opposition to the FDA's methodology, calling it a charade. Everything the government does is a charade, boys and girls. This guy ain't telling you nothing, or he shouldn't be telling you nothing. I mean, AKA, please give us money so that we can look out for your interest. Please pay us so that we don't have to have a real job. Man, the AKA is a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of crap. Okay, and most people in the smoke shop industry know it. We know it. They're being paid to do nothing. There's very few people up there really working. There's a handful, there's a group, but most of it is it's a scam. If you ask me, it's a scam. This dude expressed concern that the FDA's decision to study these two distinct classes of substances together was an attempt to create a false equivalency between them. He suggested that the agency's action amounted to a guilt by association, linking kratom, which many users claim has therapeutic benefits, with psychedelics, which are heavily regulated and stigmatized despite emerging research supporting their potential health benefits, mental health benefits. Okay. Going back to the AKA, if we had to be for real about it, right? Just so that we get this straight, the AKA is an organization that tries to bilk people into guilt is the real word, not bilk, because bilk means you're pulling from, but guilt people into giving them money so that they will advocate on your interest in kratom. And how, in order to keep it, we've got to have you. They're just like the preacher on Sunday afternoon up there at service and telling them, hey, you might go to hell from a car accident if you don't, get up here and save your soul and give me money. I mean, come on. I can tell you a group of people who are doing more for the kratom industry than the AKA, and they're outside of it. And these people are doing a ton of work for kratom, where I have watched the AKA just take money from retailers and from users for years. And I see a lot of states get them and beat them easily. Easily. And municipalities beat them constantly. So whatever to them. So don't get in the comments and start crying about how all the good the AKA does. There's a handful of people within the AKA that is probably really working hard. The majority of them are not. And they're drawing huge salaries, yet they won't report them to you. I'm just saying. If you're drawing salaries, you're pulling the money away from them. So that takes away from lobbyists and people who can, scientists who can work with them to fix this problem. But I understand people got to get paid. But I mean, I also, as a former criminal, I know a scam when I see it, right? So, advocates for both kratom and psychedelics have long accused them of this resisting harm reduction approach. They do align with the traditional drug approval framework. In response, the FDA's now withdrawn request. This dude states that the FDA has once again shown its clear bias against any harm reduction. He's basically reading from a script that a lawyer has told him what to say. I mean, I just have a real poor opinion of these people. The FDA's recent actions have seen by some as part of a broader pattern of skepticism towards substances like kratom and psychedelics, despite growing public interest and scientific research into their potential benefits, which there's a lot. They're going to have to do these studies and get to know us as it is what it is. The agency had previously cited kratom's psychological similarities to opioids as a public health concern, though advocates argue that such comparisons are misleading and fail to account for the nuanced ways in which kratom is used. Ongoing debate and future implications of this. There's going to be a lot of it, man. There's going to be a whole lot of debate, in the next little bit. And they really want this to work. And I mean, the FDA is not saying why they've dropped this, but clearly this public comment period has put the right up their old butt. And that's what should be done. I mean, if you really feel that way about your e-cigs, or you really feel this way about rescheduling, there's public comment periods and, they're telling you all this, you need to get your ass in there and do something about it. And if you don't, hey, man, let's don't cry about it. Let's don't cry about it. Because if you're not willing to put in the work, then you're never going to get the reward. And that's just the bottom line, man. And I hate that, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. If you're not going to put in the work, you're not going to get the rewards. All right, y'all. So I'll leave a link to this. You can look into this and leave little comments to it. If you there's looks like there's no conversational to it right now. There's no comments whatsoever on this. So we'll keep paying attention to this. Hopefully, we'll find something else for this, and hopefully they don't do anything, because that's what we want them to do. We want them to leave it alone and let the good times roll, because it's helping people. More importantly, I think they know it.